Welcome back to Anchorage News, the most reliable station in all of Alaska. For our 6 o'clock news, we will be covering the recent trend of making a freezer out of the snow outside and the heartwarming story of a husky sled dog and her unlikely orca whale friends. But first, we have some breaking news from the Midwest. We flew our best reporter out to get the scoop firsthand. We go now to our correspondent, Wanda Reportee, on the scene.
Corned terror or creamed dream? Farming towns are usually peaceful places, but not this morning when disaster struck Oilston, Wisconsin at 7:03. An elderly farmer's lifetime supply of creamed corn burst from her wooden silo. Residents of the town are shocked and frustrated at the flood that resulted in thousands of dollars worth of property damage. At the time of this interview, there was no casualties, and I was lucky to get an exclusive interview with the farmer herself.
Well, in about June of 2004, I had noticed a small leak in the corner of the silo, and had gotten in touch with someone to fix it, but up until that time I had wanted to just put a little bit of duct tape and then it would be okay.
I've seen some suspicious letters in the farmer's mailbox, and some .gov domains emailing him, so take that for what you will.
Is that your mailbox?
Huh?
Is that your mailbox, Kathy?
No.
We here at the farm have lost somebody too.
I am interested to see if there was any damage done to the property because, I really care about the value of all the real estate around here. In fact, I am an avid Zillow consumer.
I'm so sorry, y'all. Obviously, we have been under some stress and duration here at the farm. My wife is very mad at me. So there's that.
But neighbors weren't the only ones that were affected by this horrible accident. Citizens of the greater Oilston area also took a heavy and creamy hit.
My family was deeply affected by the creamed corn flood here in Oilston. We actually moved here from Colston, Michigan, in hopes that we would be able to escape any kind of impending disasters. My wife said, "Oh, the kids can go to school there. They can get nice new shoes." Well, guess what? My youngest? Oh, her shoes are filled with creamed corn now.
I was playing Princess Fairy, and some of the corn got onto my most favoritist pig shoes. It really hurt my feelings that the corn did that. And now my parents say I can't go outside anymore because if I go outside, then I will drown in the corn.
First of all, I'm excited to even be on the news. Everyone else in my family, they're never on the news, so this is a real treat for them. Hey, Jimmy and Bobby. So yeah, this cream corn, it flooded the entire town. But I make a mean corn stew, so I've just been picking loads of corn off the ground, shoving it in my boiler. It's gonna be great. As for the rest of my family, they're a little overwhelmed, just corn all over the place. It's like, what's that movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? Yeah, it's like Cloudy with a Chance of corn everywhere.
The aftermath of this corn-filled disaster is going to be a long and husky process. Many Oilston businesses were also affected by the early onslaught of processed corn.
Oh, it's been terrible. My antique shop. But now that everything's flooded, I had to move it all to my garage. Look. This is the glass that Jesus Christ himself drank out of at the Last Supper. And the flood has damaged it along the end. Now it's gone from being priceless to being priceless minus the cost of fixing it. Oh my goodness. This is the tray that Stuart Little ate his breakfast off of every day on set during the filming of the Stuart Little movies. Thank God I was able to save this precious antique. And this This is what's become of my store. All of my antiques that I was able to save from the flood are stuck in here, and I'm just really worried. I'm worried for my business. I'm worried for the town.
Now, as mayor of this beloved town, I do feel for all my citizens and residents. I, however, think that this little flood is not necessarily a good thing, but can have its benefits, I like to think positively as mayor. I think that's a good aspect to have. My family's been running this town for centuries. Anyways, I love the smell of maize, don't we all? So, I'm loving the smell. I do think that it will be hard to get around, but as I also was telling my colleagues, spring and summer come every year, right? When that sun pops out, boop, 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 we got popcorn all over the streets. And I think that it's easier to get around. Man, you can walk to work, have a little buttery treat for breakfast, and go on with your day. But my colleagues, they said no, and ever since the incident of '04, I'm not allowed to overrule them.
Some people, however, are trying to make the most of this corny predicament. For a few, the starchy tsunami was a blessing in disguise.
I came in from Madison last week when I heard about this whole flood business. Real tragedy, real hard, heart-wrenching stuff. But yeah, I'm actually here. I've been helping out the local community, by pumping in the tourist business, getting people from some of the bigger cities, Rockville, Boulderston. We're getting them in here, we're getting them to see the corn. We're trying to raise awareness for this, and of course I make a profit. All these local news outlets, they've been saying, oh, that whiz Palmero guy, he's no good for the town. But you know what? I've actually boosted my personal bank, the town economy by hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, whatever they're saying, it's Crookshank, it's hogwash. The people of Oilston, they deserve to be on the map. And I think that Mr. Whiz Palmero here can do that for them. If bringing people here and kind of mopping up the money with a natural disaster, if that's a crime, well, you know what, Mr. Newsman, go ahead, lock me up. And that's all I have to say.
I was in Oilston because I wanted to go to the cheese fest that they put on here every year. I'm a local, so it was crazy to find the place absolutely submerged in creamed corn. And I gotta say, we took advantage of the situation, and I've been training in the farm ditches that are absolutely filled with it. Turns out the heavy viscosity makes for great training. This is gold. I'm looking to win it again.
However, experts warn that lasting corn deposits will upset nature's delicate balance.
Ultimately, my opinion on the spill of creamed corn in our town is that it will change the scope of life as we know it. Our local fish in the lake, they ultimately cannot eat corn. It provides little to no nutritional value and oftentimes is fatal. However, since it is quite delicious, the fish can't stop eating it. The fish are and will continue to perish. The organisms in the lake are taking to the corn. We have an influx in algae corn hybrids. We have an influx in bottom feeder corn hybrids, turtle corn hybrids. And as of right now, we know nothing about these organisms and what they will grow to be. So I say stay inside, take care of yourselves.
Don't let them fool you into thinking that the corn is only dangerous to the environment, to the lakes and the rivers and the streams and the fishes. No, it's just as bad for us humans. Think about it, all those genetically modified organisms will have more limbs than a spider.
It seems unlikely that the residents of Oilston will be able to cob their way out of this corny disaster anytime soon. In this Hubble reporter's opinion, the citizens of Oilston should grab some salt and pepper, a shovel, and eat their losses. Back to you.
Thank you, Wanda. I worked up an appetite after that story. We're going on a commercial break so I can get a scoop of corn myself. Join us after the break and find out how this grizzly learned how to cook, and maybe how to love.